popcorn. We are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Media popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault.
Hey everybody, it's Brandon Collins.
Guys, and it's Justin Brown.
And we're Media and Paco niggas spoiling movies.
Ooh, baby.
And to celebrate National Hispanic Month, listen, we told y'all we were going to watch it eventually, and we did. Blood in, blood out, Los Votos Forever, Holmes.
See, nobody told us that the blood runs through the asshole in this movie, because there's a whole lot of rape talking.
Yeah, there's a lot. Also, I fucked that up. It's supposed to be Vatos Locos Forever. I said Los Vatos.
It's okay, Brandon. You don't speak it as Spanish.
I'm so bad at it. But I felt like the nigga that played Miklo, I was like, all right, this dude is definitely white. Like, I did some research. He actually is like white and Spanish and a bunch of other shit. But I'm like, yo, he's doing the most right now with this accent.
Bro, he was out of control.
One of the craziest performances, one of the craziest lead performances, I would say, since it's like this and Mark Wahlberg and Boogie Nights, like completely batshit crazy.
Now, mind you, hold on, Benjamin Bratt, he's like
great looking dude, man. He's a great
good looking dude.
Yeah,
but he's a good actor. He's a good actor. He should be the lead in this.
I think he looks a little bit too. He looks too not butch, but like too. I don't, because that's the thing they kept saying about Miklo in jail, is that he was a pretty boy.
Yes,
and also they had to play up that white element, because remember that's like his identity thing. That's why he's overcompensating.
Yeah,
the game, because I mean we open with the white dad just beating the shit out of him. He's just like, you can't get away from me, you brown devil. He's like,
no, but then he beats the shit out of his dad. Like it was a fucking mess. So basically, this is a story about how the lighter skinned people can be hard too. Well, basically, it's all about him overcompensating for his whiteness, while also being Hispanic.
Yeah, it's a lot about identity. It's about trying to course correct, so to speak. That's what Benjamin Bratt's character's journey all is. I had seen this movie a long time ago in college. I watched some fragments because this is a 3-hour, 10-minute movie. This is a fucking epic, right? And I just remember 3 specific scenes standing out to me. And I
know one of them has to be, all right, you white bitch, give me some chocho.
Yes.
Give me some chocho.
The immediate, like, I'm pretending to be cool with you. My name is Popeye, and I also want to rape you.
Yep. I'm going to put this spinach in your ass.
Dude, that fucked me up. Especially about a kid from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and seeing this shit. I was like, wokey dookie. And then, so that Popeye rape scene, that definitely fucked with me. When the old brother with the Afro comb stabs Montana and says for cheap times, that fucked me up.
Yep.
And then the last one was, and for some reason, I completely blocked this one out because it's so fucked up. When they attack Cruz and his girl and they slam him on that fire hydrant.
Oh, yeah. They were like,
that fucked me up. Yeah, that fucked me up.
Yo,
that's so
but it's
brutal.
Also, that's also like a guy broke your car window, the back window, and it wasn't even him who did it.
Yep.
And they were just like, now we break your back. Like, that is just taking it to a whole nother fucking level. Like, that was so unnecessary.
Yeah, but that's how, like, this is supposed to illustrate gang life, right? Like, if you're part of this familia, like, even if you don't do anything, like, to upset the people we're beefing with, they can still come at you because technically you're family. And
yeah,
it's a whole fucking cycle. That's also what this is talking about, is like the violent cycle, unfortunately.
Well, I think it's also, I mean, because, just to talk about just gang life as a whole, a lot of people is just like, gangs about, money and drugs and things like that. But like back in the day, especially in like the 60s, especially we're talking about here. Well, this takes place in the 90s, correct? No. This 1972 to 84. So like earlier on, it was basically people in a neighborhood just trying to keep themselves safe from other people coming in a neighborhood and starting trouble. So it was basically just like, neighborhood watch, but by like the younger people who are neighborhood watch, is making sure, people didn't come in, with the bullshit. So it's all for protection. And then it got crazy out of control with like the, like what we got in prison here. And that was at San Quentin with the, you have to kill somebody to get in.
Yep.
And you die by, by being killed. So like that, it is kind of a real, look into the way that gangs, how it began, as opposed as just a neighborhood thing, and then it formulated into something else, which is like, this is a brotherhood, this is like a business, this is clearly for survival, and anybody's in, as opposed to the people who are like family and, or the people who are closest to you.
Yeah. This movie had a lot of traumatizing scenes, because you're just like, the course that each of the characters go in throughout the movie it's harrowing, it's heartbreaking, it's really fucked up, it's kind of crazy.
It is. But can we talk about what's Miklo?
Damien Chapa? Yeah, I mean,
yeah, or as they call him in this movie, Milkweed.
Yes.
In what world is this actor 17 years old? Because all throughout this film, he looked like he was like 35.
Yeah, ironically, he looked younger in Street Fighter than he did in this movie. And Street Fighter was years after this.
Yeah, because he looks wild in this film.
Yeah, I mean, from 17 to, his early 30s that he's supposed to be. All they did was change his hair.
Yeah, pretty much.
He just went from having long hair to having shorter hair throughout the movie.
And then some dirt under his fucking fingernails.
When he got out of jail and was like getting hustled by Popeye and working at that factory, and he's just sweating, and then the guy's telling him about how like Popeye is taxing him like 20% off their check. He's just like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be, Holmes. And I was just like, that's the take they went with. I was like, that was so bad. He like pouts and shit. He looked like Tommy Pickles grown up in prison. He looked crazy.
Yeah, if Tommy Pickles fucking fakes fucking giving guys blowjobs and stabbing them in the heart.
Oh, that was wild. But that dude did have it coming. Big Al, he had it coming.
Oh, bro, he's better than me, because I would have stabbed Big Al in the balls. I would have came up with that shank to the balls and then to the heart.
Yeah, that was rough, man. It's like you made me have to suck your finger and shit.
Oh, he's better than me, because I wouldn't have gone that far. I would have had to kill him right there.
He had to do that to get Big Al to completely let down all of his defenses.
I know. Yeah, bro. Also, Delroy Lindo, he looked like he was 67 years old in this movie. What is going on with that man?
Yeah, he looked, it was, I think it's the hair. I think it's the makeup that they did. Remember, this is directed by Taylor Hackford, who's a very, very white man. Even though he's directed like, films that have starred people of color, and he directed, what's the movie with Jamie Foxx, Ray. He directed Ray.
Yeah.
So like, okay, but it was a weird movie, because there's some stuff where you're like, this is like long like a Godfather, and I don't know if we needed that.
So here's the thing. Delroy Lindo is 68 years old. He's turning 69, year of the Lord, November 18th, right?
Yeah.
this movie was almost 30 years ago. So in this film, he was roughly about what, 30, 38, 39?
He lived way older than that.
Bro.
It's makeup.
Everybody talk about black don't crack. This nigga cracked early, but then he stayed the course. Like, he looked, with that afro on, he looked fucking wild.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that popped up in this movie with little cameos before they blew up look crazy. Like Billy Bob Thornton. I was like, okay.
You know, it's funny because I was just like, wait,
crazy.
Like, I was like, is that Billy Bob Thornton? Like, he looks wild in this. Sorry about that. Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton looked fucking absolutely nuts. Billy Bob Thornton looked like he just fucking robbed a taco truck. Ain't shit.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a crazy movie, right? Like, okay, let's first talk about let's go from least to most important main character out of the three, right? So Cruz and Paco are brothers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but they're like they're stepbrothers, right?
Yes.
Right, and so they're stepbrothers. They're living with their parents. They have like this, mixed generation relationship family. Like they have a bunch of little siblings.
Yeah.
And then their cousin Miklo comes to move with them.
Yeah, because Miklo just got out of prison. He was on probation. And then but he can't stay home. His mom basically tells him, is like, hey, you go live with your cousins because I can't just have you here right now. So his mom is just completely, his mom was kind of hot. She was just doing her own thing. His dad wasn't, I guess his dad was technically no. His birth father wasn't in the picture because his birth father was a white guy.
Yep.
His stepdad was I guess Hispanic.
I thought that guy was white. The one that was beating them?
I think that was actually that guy was that guy was Hispanic.
Huh. Okay. He looked white.
He went to go to Vegas to live with his stepfather, with his actual real father, apparently. But like he was also a piece of shit, so he was just doing his own thing. And so he left East LA when he was on probation, but once he turned 18, he would have been off of probation. That was in 6 days. He could not hold his shit for 6 fucking days.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's all because there's this turf war. I mean, he gets initiated into that game very quickly.
Well, yeah, he did some bullshit.
Like they put him in real quick.
Well, but Miklo was also like one of those people, like I guess because he didn't have he didn't have a real solid familia. He looked towards his friends and the local gangs to be that family for him. Hence, like his mom not really taking any real interest in his life. So he then went and leaned hard into gang life. So he was willing to do all the bullshit. But like we've always said, if you see a bunch of white people, Hispanic people, and there's one white guy in there. Now, Miklo is
you said a bunch of white people? You meant to say black people?
No. If you see a bunch of black people or Hispanic people, and there's one white guy in there.
I know, but before you said if you see white people and Hispanic people.
I'm sorry.
Because I was like, white people with a white person, yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of white people.
So, that dude had to do the craziest shit to get in with that group. But that was him. He was trying to prove himself so hard, so he was willing to go all the fucking way. You know
what's crazy is it reminded me of that white dude in that movie Black and White who was trying to get in with that crew. It was just equally as bad acting. Like that's the thing with Mr. Chapa's performance is that it has ups and downs, wazuzus and zuzits. It's all over the place. Like sometimes you're like, oh man, I feel for Miklo right now. And then others are like, why is he making this stupid, like, I'm touched face in prison? Like, around, like, I mean, the fact that a nigga named Popeye with the crazy eyes that dude had was able to get one over you, come on, man. If you took his business away and essentially almost got him killed, you think he's just gonna let that slide? Like, you got to think 3 steps ahead of these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
especially in this gang life.
Yeah, like what do you think? Like, what did he think was going to happen when he pushed Popeye out of that deal right into it, right to his face
in Popeye's own house? Just like I mean, it was just all the disrespect.
This nigga lost the leg.
Yo, I mean, that was crazy. When Benjamin Pratt apparently shot it off or some shit, they said.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it comes down to he tried to just shoot him in the leg to not hurt, not kill him, but then he inadvertently ended up shooting him somewhere where they had to amputate that bitch, which is, oh boy.
You took my leg, Holmes.
Yo, what about just shooting him in the shoulder?
He was too far away, bro. You had to go for something a little bit wider, a little bit meatier.
Maybe so.
Okay. The whole Cruz as the artist who's getting all these awards. He's like the one. He's like the sensitive guy. He's not the one that's a gangbanger. He'll hang out with his his brother and his cousin, but like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not about that gang life. So when he gets fucked up, like, it essentially changed the trajectory of the family.
Yeah.
Right. Because what ends up happening is he gets fucked up by the rival gang that they like you said, they just broke a windshield. That's it. And they escalated that shit to another level. So, of course, Benjamin Bratt's like, yo, we're going to fucking kill them.
Yeah. Well, mind you, at the same time is, so Benjamin Paco, right? Paco.
Former boxer, apparently.
He was former Golden Glove boxer. He instigated that entire thing. Because he's the one who hyped Miklo up. Well, I'm going to call him Milkweed. He hyped Milkweed up to go and do that shit, which then set off this whole chain of events, which led to
everything that happened to them.
Yeah, well, it led to Cruz getting hurt, and then led to Miklo, and then them attacking those guys, where Paco carved fucking their initials into that kid's chest. Then he shot Miklo and Milkweed, and then Milkweed kills him, which he then screams, "No, he's dead!" Like, nigga, he just shot you. Of course, you need him to be dead.
Yeah. And then he's like in the back. He's like, "Leave me, Holmes." And then Paco's like, "No, I can't." And so they both get arrested. But Miklo goes to jail for a while, whereas Paco just is either jail or sign up for the army.
Yeah, because he never had he had no record.
Yeah. So,
but
Miklo was already fucked because of his record.
Yeah, because he had a prior. He was on probation already. But also, Paco, bro, when you're driving a getaway car, what the fuck are y'all doing celebrating? When you ain't out of the woodworks yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're driving and then they just run straight into a fucking other car because they almost hit somebody because they're too busy looking at the cops and celebrating. Nigga, eyes on the road.
That's how they always get caught, man. It was okay. So then Miklo goes to the prison. And he's San Quentin, right?
Yeah.
And that's some crazy shit because, as we mentioned, this nigga named Popeye, who looked like the Tasmanian devil if he grew up in Mexico. And and then Montana, who becomes like Miklo's mentor, is the one that steps in and saves him from Popeye. And he essentially starts to get to know the ways of that gang. And that's what kind of protects him in prison.
Yeah. So basically, Montana is the godfather of the gang in the prison.
Yeah.
But there's like 7 heads to this gang. Popeye is actually one of them. Jesus Christ. Popeye, crazy people driving fucking bikes out here in a story. You already know, Brent. So Popeye is one of them. And then but like the head guy is Montana, and then you have his like foot soldiers, also one of them being Danny Trejo.
Yes.
Because you can't have a movie with Hispanic gangs without Danny Trejo.
Yep. And this is like back when I think Danny Trejo had literally like been in prison maybe like a year or two before the filming of this movie.
Yeah. So I forgot what there was another movie that he did, which was about like cartels and shit. And in the movie, I don't know why I can't remember it, but in the movie, I think they said that like in prison, one of the cartel guys got raped, like they alluded to it. And then Danny Trejo had to talk down the cartels because they were going to kill the director over that shit. But he was just like, yo, but he told them on set, like, yo, you can't do that because you're basically you know, whether it's true or not, you're basically putting them on front seats like, yo, this guy got fucked, you know, in prison. So like, you know, and you know, the machismo, things like that, and it's like that's not gonna go over well, but they did it anyways. And the director almost got killed by the cartel over that shit. So like I was listening to an interview with Danny Trejo talking about it. He was like, yo, even with making movies about the cartel, that shit is fucking real and they play zero fucking games. So like he had actual workings with the cartels, and like he was kind of like the dude that was just like, yeah, you can do this. This is cool. This is good. But some other shit is like, nah, it ain't gonna fly. Director didn't listen to him and almost got.
Oh no. That's ironic because Danny Trejo played a rat in Breaking Bad. He ended up getting his head decapitated and put on a turtle.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was his nickname, right? He's like, they call me Turtle.
They call me Turtle.
Also, the dude, speaking of Breaking Bad, the dude who plays Tuco is in this.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's been playing this character his whole life. Like, right? Like, he's just this Mexican cholo dude who's just fucking crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but so is Danny Trejo. They've both been playing like these characters forever, which is, I mean, even though Danny Trejo got you know, like he got the break away from it with Machete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like I really liked the gallery scene with Cruz, you know, after he finds out that he sold a bunch of pieces, and then, you know, he does let his homies in to the gallery, even though they start acting a fool, and so he leaves with them, gets high as fuck, and then they come back. And it was like all these hoity-toity white people are looking at him, but it's like the paintings you're buying literally are these people.
Yeah.
Like what are you looking at them like that for?
But at the same time, it's just like
they just want to be close to something. They don't want to actually live in that.
Yeah, but also, bro, like as an artist, you know better. Like you have to know better not to try to fuck up the money doing that shit. But even though by that time, because of the injury to his back, you know, the guy walked with a cane. I believe he got hooked on like painkillers, and then he started doing heroin and all that shit because of the pain to his back.
Yeah, you said the painkillers didn't really help.
Yeah, so he started. So that's what led him into addiction.
That's sad, man. Because I mean, having chronic pain, that's no joke. And if like, medicine you're prescribed doesn't work, you're gonna turn to hard drugs to try at least.
The street drugs, and it's also because. I mean, I don't want to go too far into it because you know we have a mutual friend who kind of had a similar thing going on with that, but you know, after a while with going the traditional sense to your doctors, they're just like, well, you're doing too much or da 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 da, and then they cut you off. So that's what leads people to going and doing street drugs, and then they start spiraling, doing fucking crazy shit, which then leads to heroin and all the stuff like that. And when it really comes down to like his story, yes, it is partly due to Paco's being a fucking idiot at the beginning, but then, you know, after the injury, it then leads. No, lots of back, but it's also partly because of the what you call it, the drug, the drug companies, the industry that is pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah. I mean, did the family not know that he was a heroin addict though? Because when his little brother has the accidental overdose, I'm like, yeah, you should have been monitoring your little siblings if you knew like the older brother that they all adore is a heroin addict. I was very surprised like that mom came home and I mean, obviously it's her son, one of her youngest kids. And so she's devastated, but it's also like, did y'all really not know that he was a fucking druggie?
I think that I think that he tried to hide it the best way he could. The brother knew because the brother, like you said, he adored him. But I think the parents, I think most, especially when he's the golden child, I think the parents were kind of in denial by what they were.
Because before Paco goes to the army, he's definitely like the favorite.
Yeah, for sure.
He's winning awards for his art, and he's not involved in the gang life. Like they're all like, oh my god, he's great. But I actually think like the actor that played Cruz, Jesse Borrego, also a solid actor in this movie because that last scene between him and Benjamin Bratt was actually really, really good.
Yeah, it was.
Where he's like, hey man, like this all started because of you, but it's okay to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
He's like, I had to forgive myself for what happened to our little brother. Like I thought that was really powerful, especially given this is where I will say the 3-hour runtime does pay off a little bit because you've been with these characters so long.
Yeah.
It is like a relief of all this tension, all this pain when Benjamin Bratt just like starts crying and stuff.
So this spans 12 years, this movie, in their life. So if you put it, so each hour is what, 4 hours?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 4 years, rather. So Milkweed, he's in prison for the first go.
For all of that, essentially.
Well, yes, but he's in prison for the first go for 9 years. And then he gets out on parole, and then it's probably like a few months before he ends up going back. I don't think so, man.
I don't think so. When he calls Paco, finds out Paco's a cop now, he's only been out for like a week, right? He's living with Popeye. He starts working at that factory because Popeye's like, I got you a job. Then he finds out he's getting taxed. He then takes over the business from Popeye, right? With that supplier, whoever the fuck that guy was. And then literally when they're about to do like a big deal that it's because they said Saturday, right? Or something like that. That's when Popeye's called Paco's office and told fucking Biv from fucking Back to the Future, who's like in a disguise. He's like, hey, this deal's going down. You're going to be on the news. And that's how he gets busted. Well, he doesn't really get busted. Miklo and his partner, Paco and his partner, stopped him. But then he's like, Miklo, what the fuck are you doing? You just say
he's like, good, you owe me.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's only like at least 2-3 weeks, man, because he's saying, I just saw you and you said you were good. And they saw each other about a week after he got out.
No, but did he actually see him? No, because there was a phone call.
It was a phone call, and then I think they did see each other in person before the chase. Because remember, he's like, I just saw you and you say you were like good, and then I'm nowhere. I'm pointing, you're pointing a gun at me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I also
made terrible decisions as soon as he got out.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, he was trying to go straight, but then
he got right back with Popeye, who's fucking crazy ass. It's like this nigga day one tried to rape you. Like he's not.
Why would you fuck with him?
Well, remember he owed him that debt. Remember he like wiped his debt clean, and it's like anything you need when you get out, I got you.
Yeah, but I mean, either way, like yo, at the he gets out, is like, yo, pay me my debt. Miklo should have gone back to his family, but Paco was taking care of him, like, money wise on the outside, and then like that would have been good. Like he just played that all wrong. Now, and I'm thinking about what you just said, and you're 100% correct. It was pretty quick before he went back to prison, because Miklo only had 3 months of probation.
Mm-hmm.
And and I think he was only out maybe a month. Maybe a month.
Yeah, it is pretty quick downfall, but that's what happens to a lot of people who are incarcerated and they get out.
But
right?
it's different now because they're not giving you probation for 3 months.
Oh yeah,
they're giving you probation
years.
for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And like any little thing that you do, they're gonna get you fucking hemmed up for good. You know what? One of these days we'll have to do another prison movie. I'm gonna bring my brother on to talk about fucking prisons. He was in prison for what, a good 8 years of his life. Yeah, so like maybe I'll get him on and we'll talk about some of the shit. I mean, well, obviously we got to see like what he's
really talk to him about his comfort level and stuff.
Yeah.
Be like, hey man, you ever seen Blood In, Blood Out? He's like, yeah, I lived it. And I'm just like, oh Lord. Dude,
did they want your chocho?
Those shanking scenes were vicious, man. Holy shit. Yeah. They're just stabbing these niggas in the sides, punching your lungs, in the heart.
Yeah, in the lungs, yeah.
Ugh, geez. So you're choking on your own blood when you're dying.
Yeah.
Like when Montana gets stabbed up by Bill Cosby, like he's got his one arm handcuffed and he is suffocating on his own blood. And
Lou Gossett got him good.
After he was about to see his daughter after 14 years, I was like, dude, this movie's so traumatic. Like, like I'm a fresh transplant to New York City from the fucking suburbs, and like I was at a student gathering, they watched this movie for some reason. It was like this and higher learning that weekend. And so I'm just like, Jesus Lord, like, why is everything so violent?
Well, New York, motherfucker. At the same time, it's just like Milkweed knowing that Montana was going to go see his daughter. Why don't you just give him that opportunity to see his daughter for the first time before dying? Mm-hmm. Like, bro, come on.
I mean, them's the breaks, right? But it ended up being your own kind because the plot twist at the end is that Miklo finds out that if it's one of their crew, that's the one.
No, Miklo actually set it up.
What?
Miklo set it up.
No, he looks devastated at the end.
No. Because the dude in the crew, he said, "Yeah, I know you told me to destroy this." That was the thing for where they made the pick, the mold for the pick. He's just like, I know you told me to destroy this, but I hid this as protection from you, just in case you came out of me. He's like, but you're the dude now, and it's like, giving my allegiance to you, so I'm gonna let you destroy it. Oh wow! It's like you're the Godfather now.
I read that. So he played the game, like he was just like. But that's the thing, is like, when did he become so smart? Because he's pretty incompetent for more than half of this movie, and then out of nowhere he just becomes like the fucking strategist.
I think when he lost his leg, and he couldn't like fight for himself. Mm-hmm. That's when he started using his brain, because he was dumb enough to think that he could physically go to toe to toe with killers, which is obviously we saw early in the movie was not the case. Mm-hmm. But also at the same time, he was 17, 18 years old. Yeah. Now he finally becomes a man, at the age of 28. 28 years old. Actually, so in that case, he was in jail for 11 years because he went in at 17 and then he went in at 18, I guess, because he was in the hospital because remember he got shot in the fucking in the stomach, and then came out when he was 28. So he's in the 10 years, sorry. And then he comes out now. He's a full-grown man. Is just like, okay, I can handle myself. Then his fucking lower leg gets amputated, and now everybody's punking him. So he goes from like a dude who was basically a prison bitch. Then he became a man who is respected and kind of running shit, and then he comes back as a prison bitch again. So he had, and there was no way for him to elevate himself back to that old status that he had, especially with, you know, the jail life with all the gangs and the you know, the Aryan folks taking over at that point. So he had to use his mind to try to elevate himself, because at that point everybody was going to bitch him out forever. He had no clout.
Yeah, I mean, he also, you know, he used his connections. He used his connection with Paco to manipulate Paco into doing this fake summit between them and the black gang. And then he used that as like a double cross. And it just like took everybody out.
Well, no, the summit,
it was a smart move.
The summit was real. It's just that nobody knew the true intentions behind the entire thing.
I will say, to your point though about letting Montana see his daughter, what if that was actually the plan, was to kill him after he sees his daughter, but the guy just couldn't turn down the opportunity because he was so close in that moment?
Yeah,
because there's no way he could have accounted for Montana saying, "Hey, I want to stop and, like, you know, make myself look good. I haven't seen her in 14 years." There's no way he could have calculated for that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about that.
It's just
hold the mirror for you. I was like, "Ooh, child."
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I was just like, "Oh boy, oh here it comes." Samuel Jackson, stop it! Don't do it to him.
When a nigga's making the face of the old evil witch from Snow White, you need to go the other way.
Yo, that old black dude looked like he just escaped off a box of rice. He. Hi, I'm Uncle Ben, and you Yo, do you remember fucking Uncle Jemima's malt liquor?
Uncle Jemima?
Yes. Oh my God, bro. It's probably
not
one of the funniest.
Aunt Jemima. Uncle Jemima.
No. It's Aunt Jemima. It's a SNL sketch starring Tracy Morgan, and wait. Fuck. Hey, I'm trying to think. Was it Tracy Morgan? I think it was. No, because Tracy Morgan was playing fucking Aunt Jemima. Tracy Morgan was playing Aunt Jemima. I can't remember who was playing Uncle Jemima.
Jay Farrow?
No. This was way before Jay Farrow. But I know, and Tim Meadows was in it, but he wasn't playing Uncle Jemima. But basically, Uncle Jemima is husband to Aunt Jemima. Like, you know me, Uncle Jemima. You know my wife, Aunt Jemima. It's like, but I got a product of my own. Black folks ain't gonna go nowhere else flipping no flapjacks. And he starts selling mash liquor that's like fucking high proof. And it's just like, yo, you get fucked up quicker. And like, he's seeing fucking birds and shit like that flying around. Bro, it's one of the funniest fucking sketches, but you have to see it. You have to fucking see it.
Okay.
I will put it on Patreon.
I'll take your word for it, because your description, like, in the way that, like, how long it took you to get there, I was like,
oh my God,
I'm over this sketch already.
Fuck you. I'm gonna find it.
All right. Well, but that was okay. So that's an interesting plot twist. That actually makes it a little bit more interesting now, because that shows that Miklo's embraced the full gang life. He's like, this is my familia. And Paco has to deal with the guilt of, like, I set him on this path. Even though Miklo was going to probably end up there in some way, just because of the decisions he was making even as a kid.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, you would hope that he was going to follow. I mean, if he would have kept in the reign of, actually no, Miklo was going to end up. You're right, because Cruz was doing the right thing, but Miklo was more interested in the gang life, and he wanted to be, you know, kind of indoctrinated into the gang and all that kind of shit. Yeah. So, yeah.
Nothing really came through with that when he was working in the library with the law dude, right?
No.
Yeah, I thought that would have been an interesting angle if he really did, like, learn about the law and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought. Well, the thing that did come through in that is the fact is that
was the connect, right? Because he found out that dude was the drug connect.
Yeah. So like that was pretty much the only thing that we learned from that. Is just like, oh, this is the guy who you're who's like behind it all. And then basically that's how, you know, from there he formulated this plan to then, you know, become the kingpin.
Yeah. Smart.
It's what I mean, you know what? This movie, as crazy as it was, it had a lot of layers, and like the story was actually pretty solid.
It was. I mean, I was worried like when I see 3 hours and 10 minutes, I'm like, fuck my life. But it actually steady paced the whole movie. There was never a part that dragged. There was never a part that sped up where you're like, well, that feels off balance. It's steady the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
And that's hard to pull off in like editing and just the way you film stuff, right? Like, because even though some of the performances are cuckoo bananas, there's enough people around to provide levity to the scene where it still works in a way. And for me, like, obviously, like, I'm not used to seeing jail violence and stuff like that. So a lot of those prison scenes were very jarring for me. But at the same time, I think that it's just being very transparent and like honest and being like, this is our interpretation of what these struggles are. Our experiences and stuff. I mean, obviously not Taylor Hackford because he's married to what's her name? From Fast and Furious. Fuck. What's his wife's name? Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
He ain't thinking about prison death.
No.
Well, he don't wake up in a cold sweat the way that Damian Chapo probably does. Like he just wakes up in the middle of the night just like
Mi familia.
Patos Locos forever. And his wife's just like, please stop. The movie was 30 years ago.
What I felt,
because the only like big role he had after this was Ken in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Trash. Which was trash.
So bad. When he's
so bad
in that council scene, like, you know, when he's trying to like broker this deal and he's got the fucking glasses on, I was like, yo, this nigga's out of pocket. This is so crazy. And some of the accents, man, you just like, oh, Holmes. I was like, is this stereotypical or is this how they really talk?
I mean, I get it. Yes, it is stereotypical, 100%. Yeah. That is stereotypical, but some of that is indicative of, you know, that kind of East LA kind of, Mexican kind of feel. So like, yeah, I mean, true, but also just having homie Damian Chapa doing it is it comes off very disingenuous.
It's really crazy, especially when he's trying to be like hardcore and he's like, come on, it's for the familia, we have to kill them, essay. And it's like he's pursing his lips kind of like Howard the Duck, and he looks like he should be on 90210, but he's in prison for some reason. It's just such a crazy performance, and just against this backdrop that's so violent and harrowing. And I guess that's like supposed to be his ability to play both sides because he's a pretty boy, but he's got the heart of a fucking, you know, cold ass gangster and shit. But it's just like, yeah, this is a crazy performance, especially with the accent added on.
I think one of the main things that that should have been explored in the film was the fact is that like, so, and it was touched on for a moment when he was in prison, is the fact is like, hey, you can use me to get the things that, you know, I get,
you can use me to get the things.
Well, not use him in the way that Popeye and the white guys in prison. Oh, first of all, everybody in prison wanted to fuck this guy. Yeah, everybody was trying to get that ass.
Yeah, that's why I have a theory that Big Al, after he got a taste, was going to pimp him out. Because everyone wanted to fuck him so he could trade like for a night with Miklo.
Well, I mean, when Popeye what took him around that first day that he was in prison, these guys are already just trying to trade him. They're just like, you give me some of that, we could wipe out that debt real fast. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
But so he says, like, you can use me because of the way I look. I can get places that you can't. But I wish that we actually got a little bit more of Milkweed using his, I guess, white privilege and navigating himself through the world to be able to get things that weren't available to everyone else. And to all of them, far more brown Hispanics, and so like he could be in between those worlds, but then showing even while having that advantage, he's still fucking everything up.
Yeah.
So like when he got out of prison, a guy looking like that, blue eyes, stuff like that, there would have been more opportunities for him.
More opportunities for blue eyes.
Shut up. So I just think like if they explored that a little bit more, it would have made for a better movie and something that actually people could really just be like, oh yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly what would happen, as opposed to making him just an everyday normal Hispanic guy who just happens to look completely and utterly white.
Yeah, and that
like
dude is not Mexican. He's like white German. I think he's got a little bit of Spanish, but that's like, he's a fucking not chameleon, but he's got a lot of shared DNA. He's like an Adominus Rex or some shit.
So like at the beginning, you remember when at the beginning when the police came up to them because they were driving around that car that Cruz just painted, like. He should have been the one to get them out of that situation.
Mm-hmm. Not Paco's past.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not Cruz talking, basically using Paco's boxing record to then, like, oh yeah, I remember you. They should have used him, Miklo as that.
Like, go wink your blue eyes at him. Go wink your blue eyes at him, essay. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who played Cruz is the only like authentic Mexican actor of the three main characters. Which
is Benjamin Bratt.
He's a fucking DNA splicer as well. He's a bunch of different shit. That's why he looks so good even now.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because I think
German
he's got like he's got some Native American in him, I think, and stuff. Like, yeah, he's the whole fucking gambit. But those are the people that usually look amazing. You're just a mix of a bunch of shit.
Oh, he's like Native American.
That's what I said.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, huh. Ain't nobody listening to you, Brendan. Can we also talk about the fact that we got Ving Rhames in this with hair?
Yeah, Ving Rhames was. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
That fucking shag on that nigga.
And that suit.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeremy Bratt's like, I'm in with them, Holmes. Let me in. I don't know why he stopped saying Holmes, but Ving Rhames is just like, I can't let you mess up my operation.
This operation's been going for quite some time.
Guns and butter, baby.
I was waiting for you to say it.
No, we gotta revisit Baby Boy.
Do we?
That movie is so crazy. I don't think we even scratched the surface of how insane that movie was. We could have conservatively talked about Omar Gooding's character for about an hour. There's so much to unpack in that movie.
Omar Gooding, fucking Playmakers, his best role.
It's just crazy because the last thing before Baby Boy that saw Omar Gooding in was Smart Guy. So I'm like, I'm supposed to believe that nigga is this this Compton murderer.
Bro, did you ever watch Playmakers?
Nah.
Bro, you have to watch it. It's actually really, really good. It's an ESPN thing, and the NFL shut it down because it was like shining a light on like how a lot of players really live. Yeah, so like and like actually like steroid abuse, drug abuse, and all that kind of shit. Like the NFL just made a concerted effort. It's like, we need to tank this thing, and they made ESPN fucking pull the plug on it. It's like you should watch it. And Omar Gooden was he was a monster in that show. Amazing acting at it. After that, what?
All in the game.
Okay. But like it's after that show, I'm surprised that he wasn't actually a bigger actor because of that. Like he was I'm talking about like everybody's like, oh, Cuba Gooding Jr. He's really talented. But I think didn't he fuck up and do some wild shit, and that's why he kind of disappeared?
I mean, I hope, but I guess that'd be two Gooden brothers that fucked up and did some wild shit.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like, Cuba out here looking crazy with the white girls slapping up booties and shit.
But didn't he get away with that shit?
They got him on camera, nigga. Like, I don't think like he's gone to.
Yeah, but he ain't go. But he was out at parties. I've heard about him being out at parties and shit like that. So like they ain't lock him up. Brandon, we know somebody whose pussy got grabbed by fucking Cuba Gooding Jr.
I know, but this all happened like a little bit after, before like the TMZ story and shit.
Yes, but since then he's still out and about. I'm surprised that they haven't locked that nigga under a fucking cell.
I mean, that's why it's always good to be affiliated with white people, because he got that Tom Cruise Scientology power behind him.
He's a Scientologist?
No, I think that he's still cool with Tom Cruise though. And Tom Cruise remember, Tom Cruise got a lot of pull and shit.
That's true.
Because you can't be that crazy. Also, like, try to kill yourself when you're making movies and still be like part of the Scientologist shit.
Yeah.
No one makes fun of you every day. They got that shit on lock. Yeah. So Justin, break down our rating system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. Stop calling me baby. So guys, we rate movies bags of popcorn, small,
what would you
medium.
do if real quick, what would you do if I got a soundbite of Paula saying baby? And then when I say break down our rating system, I push that button and then it's Paula saying baby. What would your response be then?
I would still say, Brandon, stop calling me baby, because I see what you're doing.
Oh, okay. That plan got foiled real quick. that's like a Batman villain, like just like sending an email to Batman, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Do you think you could stop me? And the Batman's like, yes, immediately. You're just like, all right,
this is like
back to the drawing board.
It's like, yeah, that's an easy one, bro. I would just do this. You're like, oh.
The Riddler just sends Batman riddles as like practice. Be like, hey, how fast can you correct this? And Batman's like, the riddle is this. And he's just like, 2 minutes. All right.
Like, fuck. Hey, no Google this time. No Google.
I gotta go back to my whiteboard and think of some other stuff.
So with Batman. All right, so guys, we rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a movie doesn't deserve any popcorn, we throw it into the dog shit pile, or we pile piles and piles and piles of dog shit on top of it.
Yep. So
Brandon, we sat down and watched the 1993 film Blood In and Blood Out, starring Damian Chapa, Jesse Borrega, Benjamin Bratt, Delroy Lindo, fucking who else do we have in? Ving Rhames. That's a ton of other people that like you recognize. Danny Trejo, Billy Bob Thornton.
Even just the dude that played Big Al, I recognized him from a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Larry Flattery, whatever.
Yeah, Lenny Flattery.
Yeah. But Brandon, what say you, sir?
This gets a medium. I know it's like a hood classic, and it's fine. It's just it's long. It's long. And like I said, even though the pace is steady, it's still a long movie. It's still that 3 hour, time. And you're just like, oh boy. And originally the cut was like 5 hours, I think. And they had to break it down from 5 hours to this. So
it's
a lot. But I think most of the performances were really solid. I think the dude that played Montana was really good. Enrique Castillo. Benjamin Bratt was solid. Jesse Borrego was solid. I mean, Miklo, it's just a hard role. Like, I also want to be fair to Damien there and be like, that was a hard role. And he didn't quite, hit it, the mark, but he did put in a lot of effort. You could tell he was trying.
Yeah,
but
true.
It didn't quite fit the rest of the movie, but he gets a B+ for effort. So I'm giving it a medium as a whole.
Okay.
What about you, Jeff?
I'm going to give it a large. I think regardless of the fact that it was 3 hours, it was actually like it was very well rooted in reality, which is something that we typically don't see from films like this. And the characters' story arcs, they actually did come full circle, and we did see these characters grow before our very eyes. But and part of that happens to come with the fact is that we got this, it spanned 12 years, 3 hours. So like I think that they did a good job at really building this world, building the characters, and showing us what it is to live a life within this these kinds of circles within gangs and East LA, and just like how life is, especially in that time frame in the 70s going into the 80s.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, there you have it, everybody. We finally did Blood In, Blood Out. Some of y'all been asking for this for a while. Los Votos forever, Holmes.
Question,
though, locals forever. Whatever we want to say online, just say it to each other, baby. What were you saying, Justin?
I hate you. So one thing that I will say though is Damien Chapa. I felt like he was kind of miscast as Milkweed. I think that they could have even kind of cut the whole, like, he's a white, he's a white Mexican, Chicano. He's a white Chicano and
which
all
is
of
so
that.
crazy because in most places I've been in, the white presenting Latinos are the ones that everyone reveres.
Yeah.
So it was interesting seeing that flipped.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that we could have done without him as the main character. And I think it may have worked a little bit better, just putting a better actor, AKA Benjamin Bratt, in his role, and then switching somebody else into the Paco role. What do you think about that? Like, who do you think that you would cast as a different Paco if Benjamin Bratt played Miklo? Hispanic actor from that time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was the early 90s, bro. There wasn't that many that I was aware of, right? Like, because Paco has to be like, what, early 20s? And so I'd be maybe Jimmy Smits, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking more of like, just a little bit older. So like maybe a Jimmy Smits or even Mr. Lou Diamond Phillips.
Okay.
Because I mean, obviously he's played a lot. He's done a lot of Hispanic roles, or actually he may have been able to play Miklo as well, because he's him or either Benjamin Bratt, because they're both like really handsome men, so they could have been those guys that people hawked after in prison, and like it still would have worked. But you could have actually played more into their ancestry. It's just like, yeah, he looks different than the typical, Chicano that you're going to see on the street because he's mixed. So it's still going to work, especially with Lou Diamond Phillips.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
In another universe.
Send us your castings, everybody, at Medium P Podcast and all social media platforms. Let us know what you think. Also, Justin, how can they leave a voicemail?
Guys, you could leave a voicemail at 347-508-0978.
That's right. If you want to support the show financially, go to patreon.com/mediapopcorn. We got $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages. Please sign up because all of it helps support Baby Brown #2, as well as my gambling addiction. So please help out. We really appreciate it. Also, you can go over to tpublic.com, get yourself some swag, some deliciousness over there. And just how could people follow you on social medias personally?
Guys, you can find me at J Brown Did It on Twitter and Instagram. And Brandon, how can I follow you?
Y'all can follow me at American Collins, AmericanCollins.com. Drunk Black History is coming back Friday, October 29th. If you're in the New York area or you just want to join us via live stream, go to drunkblackhistory.com for tickets, baby.
Yes, sir.
See, I could go to audience, baby, and they don't retaliate against me. You get so upset when I call you baby, and it's endearing. You know, I'm trying to just want you
I'm
to
just
know.
going to stare at you just like this, man.
I just want you to know I care about you, man.
No, you don't. Stop it.
Yeah, you're right. I really want to just take over your family.
Yeah, I don't know why, but you can have it if you want to. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be happy with the end result.
Imagine I just put them both up in your bar with you.
I can't do this.
This is too much. All right, little biscuits. Peace.